It's taking a while. Okay. All right. Okay. Morning everyone. Right. Welcome to the meetup. So we are very happy today to have Gineesh from Fujitsu joining us, whereby he's going to share with us on custom modules as well as some of the stuff that Fujitsu is doing with Red Hat Ansible in this region. I also have Derek and Vinod from Red Hat together with us. So, just feel free to interact with us and let us know if you have any questions. Gineesh, do you want to start off?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Derek, and yeah, others, and yeah, everyone. Thank you for joining. Um, so I think you don't need much introduction, not much formalities. I think I will share my screen. Let me. Hope I'm audible. No issue, right?
Yeah, we are good.
Okay.
Yep, we can hear you.
Um, are you able to see my screen?
It's coming up. Yes, it's good.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay. So yeah. So we don't need introduction. So today we have a small topic, introduction to Ansible custom module development. And I don't need to introduce Ansible and all because you are already using and maybe you are already expert with that one. So we will start with that one. So today we have a small agenda. So just the introduction, then we will go through like what is the relation with the Fujitsu and Red Hat, then some success stories from Fujitsu related to the automation use cases, deployments. Then we will go through what is Ansible Tower, then the automation platform. Then we will learn about like we will just talk about the Ansible modules and what and when we need to create custom modules for our own use cases and some demo. So like custom module, how to create it, how to start it, how where to keep it, all those things, and some quick demo. Of course, we will have a Q&A. And as Anthony mentioned, so this session already, I think it's already started recording, so it will be available in YouTube, right? Later. So in case anyone miss anyone, I know it's office time. So yeah, this one will be shared in the meetup group later. So my name is Gineesh, and I work as system engineer, just a basic one. My primary focus is on Ansible automation, then containerization using OpenShift, Kubernetes, and all, and also IAC using Terraform. So I write in my blog at TechBeatly and also Red Hat sysadmin. So for Fujitsu, we are advanced solution provider for Red Hat. So most of the whatever the solutions are like Red Hat, Ansible Automation, OpenShift, OpenStack, whatever. So we are the partner here. You can always contact us. I mean, you can see the details here. We have deployed multiple use cases with Ansible and other products like automation, the OpenShift, OpenStack, and all. But yeah, our focus is on Ansible here. So most of the solutions are based on like complex IT automations. We have a few success stories. We have deployed projects for customer based on firewall and DNS automation, where we have automated the DNS and firewall devices like FortiGate, Akamai, Infoblox, etc. Then we have done projects based on network automation, where we have deployed the use cases like VLAN deployment, automatic network device provisioning, configurations, firmware upgrade or patching, whatever the names. So and using like devices like Cisco, HP, and other devices. And the normal general use cases like infrastructure automation, like VMware provisioning, AWS provisioning, RHV, etc., and also security automation, where we have deployed the use cases for CIS scanning, CIS reporting, vulnerability scanning, and also automatic remediations, and more other use cases. So we serve customers in public sector, telco, finance, logistics, manufacturing, retail, most of the areas. And that's about Fujitsu and Red Hat stories. I mean, the automation stories. And we'll go to the main topic. So Ansible, I believe I don't need to explain it. We all know. Okay, this is open source automation tool with simple automation language. So just an intro in case anyone very new to this topic. So we know this simple, powerful, and it's a very flexible. Actually, we don't need to go in detail. And we have this product called Ansible Tower, which is kind of an enterprise framework for your organization automation solutions, like controlling, securing, and managing your entire IT automation using Ansible. So Ansible Tower is working on top of Ansible Engine, where we have a GUI and RESTful API. So you can even deploy this Ansible Tower with a cluster. That's a recommended one, like a multi-node active ITV clusters. So you have HA, you have, if you have a dependency on the automation tool, of course, HA is required. So Ansible Tower, you can deploy with HA arrangement. On top of that, we have Red Hat Ansible Automation Platform, or AAP. Actually, this one is like including Ansible Engine, Ansible Tower, and few other components like certified content collections, where Red Hat will provide the certified Ansible collections and via the Red Hat Automation Hub. And also we have automation analytics. Analytics is something like if you have used the Red Hat Insight, you know analytics, like you can collect all the information, all the analytics from different Ansible automation solutions, and you can view everything in a single pane, I mean single control from Red Hat Analytics or Automation Analytics. Automation or Ansible Automation Hub is the official location to discover and download supported collections included as part of Ansible Automation Platform subscription. And these content collections contains modules, playbooks, plugins, roles, can be anything. It's not like everything, but it can be anything. So you can download and use it, and yeah, from the official store. So this is Ansible, Tower, and AAP. So very basic one. Now we will go deep, like content collection. So content collection, we know if you have already using the latest version, so the Ansible collection is like it's a greatest way to getting the content contribution from various Ansible developers. Like, let's say I am developing my own collection, my own module for my own device or some specific software. Earlier, I need to wait for Ansible to release. Like I just submit my PR, like my changes, my code changes, then everything will be like released with Ansible. So I need to wait for the Ansible. Now you don't need to wait for Ansible to release, because the core modules, everything will be delivered via Ansible. But your own collection, you can manage your own, like your own way. Like you can release it or deploy it or make it available via Ansible Galaxy or via the certified content collection. So these are the reusable roles, modules, playbooks, plugins, and many more things. This is more organized way, and of course with the version control. So if you have some dependency on some modules, of course you can install the specific version of the collection, and you can install the collection only you need it. Like, let's say I am just automating my VMware infrastructure. I don't need a lot of other modules, so I just deploy my VMware collection and I just use it. So if I'm using Cisco, or if I'm using AWS, I just use that module only, or that collection only for my projects. And as I mentioned, content creators can release their own version of collection at any time without waiting for Ansible release. That's a good thing about that. So earlier, like when you install Ansible, we'll say, okay, batteries included, means you install Ansible, everything is already included. But now the battery is a bit small, I will say, but still you can manage most of your automation use cases. But for the additional items like additional roles, modules, you can manage it via content collection, which is a great option. So um, we will just go in deep for the Ansible architecture. So Ansible architecture, we know we have inventory, we have playbook here, then we have modules, plugins, and also the search path. So modules are like reusable standalone scripts that can be used by the Ansible API. The Ansible command, like it can be used by Ansible API command or the Ansible playbook command. So we have other items like a plugins. So plugins augment the Ansible's core functionality and execute on control node within the Ansible execution, like etc or user bin Ansible, like that. So search path is something like the path Ansible searches to find the resources on your control node, like including configuration, modules, roles, SSH keys, and more things. So this is the basic architecture. We know, okay, we have these items inside Ansible. Hope this is clear. So other items like a CMDB is like configuration management database, where you get host or remote host details, like or managed host details, or we call inventory. And also you can collect inventory from public cloud. Yeah, those things. So our focus is here on the modules. And module, we know you just talk something to module and module will take care of the things. That's how it's worked, right? So you want to create a user in, let's say, Linux. So you have to log into the console. You just, okay, execute the command like a sudo or just user add, then the username, all those things. With Ansible, you don't need to worry about the operating system, or you don't need to worry about the user add options or other things. Instead, you can simply say, user, I need this user to be created or deleted, should be part of this group, all those things, to the module. So modules are simply like reusable standalone scripts, which can be used by the Ansible API or your Ansible playbook command or the Ansible command. So it's Ansible means the ad hoc command. Modules, not always, most of the time, or accepts arguments, so that it will process the arguments, do some job on the target nodes or locally, and provide some information. So it should return some information. So for the user add, we know it should create the user. If it does not exist, then it will return the results. Okay, user created or thing changed, or like that. So that's a module. So this is the core, thing of Ansible. So we know we have a lot of modules already available, including, already with Ansible, also via the collections. Like VMware modules, you get from the VMware collection. So let's say you want to manage AWS, you just deploy AWS collection and use the modules inside. So modules accepts arguments and always returns this information in a JSON format. Then usually modules will be executed on the target system with Python, already. And sometimes, yes, module will be executed in the local machine because, for example, to execute the module, you need the Python environment there. For the network devices or firewall devices, kind of devices, you will not have the Python environment, then you have to execute this locally. So that you have to manage locally. So we have this module utilities. It's kind of a common kind of a code for quickly building an Ansible module in Python. So that one we will talk very soon. Then we have Ansible modules and collections here. So earlier you can see all the modules were available as part of Ansible. So you can see all the modules here like AWS, A10, then ACI, VMware, all those things. Now you can see all move to collection format, and you can deploy the collection you need. Let's say you need AWS, just get it from Galaxy or from the Red Hat certified content collection hub. So let's say I have something to automate. Let's say I have a network device or I have some software to automate. So usually what will happen, you find the modules, you have to search, and we Google or we check the Ansible documentation or module documentation or the collections, and we will try to find the collection, find a module to automate the task. Let's say I cannot find a module. For example, I have a coffee machine, so I need to automate this coffee machine. By default, if the coffee machine vendor is not providing the modules, of course you cannot do anything. So coffee machine got an API access. So what you can do is you can create some scripts and do this. But you want to do with Ansible. So what is the best thing? So you write your own module with Ansible. But before you write an Ansible module, you have to consider a few things, like you have to decide when you are going to create this module. Let's say you find, okay, no existing modules fulfill my needs. Let's say I want to do something, I have a module, but it's not working, or it's not really useful for my case. So that's one of the case. Okay, you decide to create your own Ansible module. Let's say I don't want to learn and modify existing module. So for this case, okay, I have a module for, let's say, to do something on the AWS, but that module is not like it's do not have that functionality I'm looking for. So I have to um, give more parameters, more customized way for that module. So instead of learning and modifying that module, I create my own Ansible module. That's another use case. Then I cannot create a complex solve. This case, most of the time we will say, okay, the module, creating module, maintaining the module, the versions, Python version, Ansible version, all those things. Yeah, it's very difficult. So most of the time you can achieve the automation thing, the specific thing, using a role, like you call multiple modules, multiple tasks, multiple custom tasks, and create a role, and you achieve the task. But sometimes you feel like, okay, I don't need to create, because each time you create multiple tasks, actually it will like slow down your automation workflow, right? So instead, you want to do everything in a module and publish it. So in that case, also you can go for your own custom module. Then another case is like you found, okay, one of the case you are using in your organization, or maybe for your internal projects or POC, you found, okay, you create your own custom module, or you found, okay, there is no custom module, or there is no module available from community. You want to create something and contribute back to the community. It's good, right? So yeah, we are using a lot of community modules. So in that case, you decide, okay, I create my own module. So before you create the module, make sure if there is an available module almost similar, you can modify and contribute back. But if none of this working, okay, we proceed with creating our own modules. Okay. So for creating Ansible modules, actually it's not rocket science. It's very simple, but you have to prepare something. The first thing is like you have to install the development tools. So when you install Ansible, you just install Ansible only, but you have to install some development packages, that libraries and all. Also, you can try with configuring a Python virtual environment. So there are some documentations already available by which you can set up Python virtual environment. It's very, very easy, 2 or 3 steps, or you can just proceed with the standard installation, like you set up your virtual machine or your Linux machine or Mac, then directly do the but why we recommend Python virtual environment, it's like virtual box or virtual machines, where you can create different versions of your Python virtual environment. So let's say I want to test with Ansible 2.9. So I create a virtual environment where I install Ansible 2.9 and its libraries. Let's say I want to test the same with another version of Ansible, let's say 2.10. So I create another virtual environment for Python and test it there. So I make sure, okay, this is working with all the Python versions, like that, in case any bugs or something. That's the case. And for the module location, you can keep your modules in any locations, like directory can be the normal directory, like .ansible plugin modules, or it can be your environment variable. By default, these paths are not recommended. Even during development, it's fine, because if you keep these modules in your local path or local machines, it won't work in another machine, right? So because everything you keep in local module. So this one is okay for local. Let's say you are only using this machine and only you are using the module, then it's fine. But if you want to share it with others, always keep it in some project directories. Also, you can configure the directory details in the ansible.cfg using the library option. So you put like library equal to dot such library or some module name, some directory name. So you have multiple options to configure this custom module location. Okay, so this is a simple shell script module. Uh, okay, this is not big thing, but you can see it's a simple bash script where it has some variables, it's accepting some parameters. You can see here it's accepting two inputs. Uh, so you can see we have a variable changed equal to false. Then we source here. Actually, you can get the variable names, application name and application version, these details from by sourcing the $1. I think if you are familiar with this bash script, I don't need to explain in detail. So you get this variable here, then you display some information. So the display variable you set here, then you have some code inside. So this is your module. You do whatever you want. So if let's say you want to calculate some details about the system information, we know Ansible facts are there, but let's say you found okay, Ansible facts is not providing some information. Okay, you create your own custom module and get it. So this is just an example. So it's just printing the details here. And as I mentioned, the module should return the information in a JSON format. So you can see the format we are using here. So we are using like changed this JSON format and return it. So this is very simple bash module here. We are not going to talk about in detail, but we will go with some sample. So if you want to use the module, it's very simple. We configure the module path. Then we have to call the module. That's it. So here you can see this is my module name, custom app. And I pass the arguments, application name. So if you check here, it's accepting two variables. So these variables are, inside your playbook, you pass this information like my application name. So you put some variable. So you can see here Python 3.8, and it will register. You will register the variable and just print it. So we will see that in the demo. And before you go to the demo, this is the ping module. If you check this already, you can just test any of the module, or you can just go in detail, check the code of the module, and you will see it. Actually, it's very simple. The module part, what you need to be done, yeah, you decide, because that's what you are trying to do. The format, the documentation, all those components are very simple. So when you check one of the module, the simple module, I say ping, you will see, okay, it has some few parts like some comments, some shebang, then the documentation part, then you have some examples. So if you check the Ansible module documentation on the website or in the Ansible doc command, you will see this. Then it will return some information based on some value, right? And also you can see the part, this all single file. It should not be a separate one. It's a single file. You keep everything inside, then Ansible will automatically detect and parse this module information. And so that's it for the theory part. We will see this item in action. So I have, okay, so I was explaining, hope my fonts are good, clear. Okay. So this was the module I was talking about. So we have this item, we have this custom module. You can see, okay. So in my terminal, I told you, so I am using Python virtual environment. So here I check Ansible. This is my default Ansible. So I want to use Python virtual environment Ansible, right? So wait, Ansible. You can see this is using my local Ansible. I don't want to use that. This is using 2.10. So I want to use a Ansible with a 2.9 or something. So I always use Python virtual multiple actually. So what I'm going to do, I just source my Python virtual environment here. So I'm using a Ansible 2.9 here. You can see the difference. So this is what I was thinking, like you just practice this with the Python virtual environment with Ansible. So you can see this Ansible is coming from my virtual environment. Okay, we have a detailed document on that one. We can share in the meetup group or event page later. Now, so we have this directory here, project directory here. So I have few playbooks, plugins, routes, and utilities. So if you check here, you can see the plugins. I keep the plugins and module. Under that, I create a directory called modules, and I create my modules here. Custom app.sh, custom hello.sh, hello message.python, all those things. If you check my ansible.cfg here, you can see the library path. I put it here. So I put, like I mentioned, like, okay, Ansible has to read my plugins directory so that it will find all the custom modules or my own plugins from here. So make sure you use a proper unique name, because if you have a module named custom app already, then yeah, you know the conflict will be there. So you have to use a fully qualified the path. So if you are using, I will show you the here. I'm just using the default path. So you should use a full path if you have a different modules with the same name. Usually it will not be there, but in case. So this is my module. So we have to try this module first, right? So this module, you can see it's very simple. It's just print some information. That's it. So I'm using this playbook here, calling this custom hello. That's it. So Ansible playbook 1 hello bash. That's it. So it's just calling the module because we didn't pass any information here. Didn't pass any information. So by default, it will take the default details. That's it. Okay. Now we have another module. Let's say we test one more custom hello. So here we have another module, like it will just print some system information, OS information. That's it. So we try this one here. If you check the, okay, sorry, I think I opened the different module here. So this is the one we are to test here. So here, this is the second playbook here. So you can see I'm calling my custom app.sh, which is the bash script, bash module. So I pass a few options like application name and application version as a variable, and I pass it as an arguments to the custom app module. Very clear, right? Any questions, please, you can ask. So I'm just executing the playbook now. Ansible playbook, then playbook. So it says, okay, application name, Python, and version, and this is Python app. Okay, what if I change the application name? So I just want to test whether it's working or not. So I put like app underscore name equal to Java. I just want to print. Okay, so now it's printing. So we pass the module, I mean, the arguments in the playbook. So the module will take the arguments and print it. See, so it says application Java version 3.8. And you can see this is missing because inside the module, we have some checks, like if application is Python, then print something. Here the application name is not Python, so it won't print anything. That's it. So you can see this is just simple script, same bash script, but yeah, you have to handle with some kind of rules, like you should be print the information, like return the information in a JSON format kind of thing. Okay, bash is very simple, but usually we don't use bash, but you can use it, no harm. But for the full power or full feature, like if you want to use all the features, then you can try with the Python or any language of your choice. So here we have a Python module. uh, so this is a custom module. We actually are not accessing any machine or any devices. We are just processing some information and printing it. So the content you can decide. So here I have my documentation. So I put like, what is my module name? Hello message. So I put some short description. Same thing you can see on any of the Ansible module documentation. I put the version 2.10. So this one you can decide. Then the description, I add some description here. Then these are the options. So I put the options, like what are the options I can pass. So there are two arguments. One is a message, another one is description. So sorry, message and name. So message, I am just providing what should be the details. So based on this value, Ansible will take care. So let's say if you put like a type string or type integer or type some variable, some number, and you pass some string, it will fail, kind of thing. So all those restrictions you can mention here. So in case when you use a normal Ansible module, you will see, right, what should be the argument, what should be the type, it should be string or number or list, that kind of thing. So all those details you can put it here. Then the details, you have more details here. I'll go through that. So you have two variables here or two arguments here, and you can see the details. Required true means it should be passed. I mean, if you don't pass this argument, the module will fail, like that. And you put some example here how you can use this module. So you just put some simple example. Then the return value, just sample return values. What will be the return value? So you can add it. It's not mandatory, but better you add it so the other users will understand, okay, how it will look like. Then this is the actual module or script path where you call this Ansible module utils, and you import Ansible module. Then this one I call because I want to call some OS information inside. Then you can see the module arguments here. You have rules here. So module arguments is a dictionary, message, then should be string type, required true. Another one is name, type is string, required false. This is a condition. So if you put required means, if the module, when you call the module, you miss this message, it will fail. Okay. Then the result, I declare a result value here. So this value will be changed when you execute the module. Then you call this module with Ansible module. And yeah, if you are familiar with the Python, I don't need to explain a lot. So these are called Ansible module utils. Then you have a few items, like I check if the check mode. So that's why if you have I think you're familiar with the check mode. So if it's a check mode, you just make sure it do something, or the default result, and exit the script. It should not do anything, right? So whatever the check mode, you can control the details here. So if it's check mode, in our case, I don't want to proceed, but I just print the default result and exit. Then I put some source name, world. Then I put some information. Let's say if the message equal to fail, I want to purposefully I want to fail this module. If there is a name, if name set, if because the name is optional, so I pass this. I don't need to explain detail, but yeah, just go through this one, you will understand. Then I update the result based on the value. So I update the result with greetings, message plus source name, then some information. So this is very simple one. We pass few arguments. Based on the arguments, we process something and return the results. So this is the results. So you exit with the results. So the result value, you can see few items in the JSON format: changed, greeting, OS version, kind of information. Those details I overwrite here. Okay, very simple. We have very few lines in the modules. If you have a detailed module, let's say you want to automate some operations, you have to put all the collection here. So this will be the basic kind of a body for this module. Now we will test this module with a few options. So this is our playbook. So here we are calling hello message module with the message, custom message, I put hello John. Okay. So we test this one. Ansible playbook, then okay, it's printing some information. So it's like it's printing the OS version, greeting hello John, warning. Yeah, it's about the Python version, the Python version thing. Ignore that for now. And you can see the JSON output you are getting. Great, right? Now I want to test whether it's really working because I put like message is mandatory, right? So I execute now. I think I didn't say. Okay, now you can see an error because I put like the message argument is mandatory, it's required. So it says it will throw some error because missing required argument message. That's how you can manage whether the argument is mandatory or not. Great. Now you want to try with a different name. So the custom name or custom message I want to change. So I put like here, then I pass some value like custom message equal to good morning. Okay, so I'm just overwriting the custom message here, so it will pass as a message. Now you can see it's passing the message and the module will return, okay, with a new message, which is good morning, John. If you want to overwrite the John, you can replace it. Because earlier the default one was hello. Okay, so this is how you can put default values, then you can mention whether the argument is kind of a required or mandatory or optional. What should be the type of argument, like a string, number, all those information you can put inside, and Ansible will take care of that. You don't need to like check whether the argument is string or like that. Okay. This is the basic things. Hope you understand, okay, how you can start with a module. Then you slowly start with very basic things and slowly you expand when needed. And regarding the maintenance, of course, you have to test it with other versions, all those things. Yeah, it's up to you. Before I close, I have to just explain one more thing. You have created a wonderful module. Let's say you create a module which you think, okay, it's useful to others, other Ansible users or other Ansible developers. So you want to share it with others. So what you can do is very simple. You can share it with others using Galaxy. So if you check here, let's say I want to publish this module via Galaxy. So I have this custom module here. So I want to publish a new version. So I make some changes. So I want to deploy, or this is my first version. So still you can do this. Here I have already this module available. So what I'm going to do, I am publishing a new version of this module. So here you can see 1.0.10. So I want to publish the new version. So for publishing to Ansible Galaxy, you can do it manually in the GUI, or you can do it from Ansible itself. For example, I have a utility here. This is a playbook. So if you check the playbook, it's doing few steps. First one, it will make sure, okay, Ansible Galaxy token is there, because when you do from the CLI, you have to pass this Ansible Galaxy token as an authentication. So I do that first. Then I template the Galaxy YAML file, because the Galaxy YAML file will contain all the information like the version, all those information, then the tags, all those things. Here, I'm not going to change it every time. Instead, I create a template here, a Galaxy.yaml template, where I replace few variables or values based on playbook calling. So I want to call this playbook, right? So what I'm going to do is Ansible playbook utilities update. Maybe I can clear this. Ansible playbook utilities. Okay, so I need to pass the tag information because the tag, you cannot use the same tag every time. So I pass like e tag equal to 1.0.11. Okay, we will see the other information here before execute. So once I template the Galaxy, we will build the package. So you just use the command Ansible Galaxy collection build and force is to override. So you change the directory to the parent one. This is my parent directory. Then you publish the collection. So you use the same command Ansible Galaxy collection publish. Where I want to publish. So I want to publish. I want to publish this latest zip file, which is using the tag information. Then I also pass the API key information as a Ansible Galaxy token. Ignore certs because the certification SSL thing. So ignore that one. Yeah, that's it. So we'll execute this one. So always, if you are okay, you can always share your own modules collections with others. This is how you can do that. So in my case, I have this is for the demo purpose. We have one. I think we have few modules. Then I have a few playbooks. Then I have also one role, very sample role. So you will see the details in the Galaxy. So we will go and check Galaxy. Okay, so we can see we have a new version already released, 1.0.11. And if you check the content, you can see, okay, there is a role, setup Ansible user, and hello message is the module. Good, right? This is how you can share with others. Always share. Then, yeah, that's it for the demo part. I think we are already almost later. Okay. So this is how you can share your content with others via Ansible Galaxy. But if you are going through with like a vendor collections and all, you can always contact that and share it as a certified content collection. You can ask the team for more details on that one. And best practices, you always take care of the return values, unsafe strings, all those things. Always try to enable the arguments, its type, default values, etc. And if possible, support the check and diff mode. I told, right, if it's a check mode, just return the things without doing the actual thing. Try to support the latest version. Then always you have to handle the failures. Let's say you think like, okay, there will be some scenarios, the module will fail, some error. You have to validate, or you have to include this validation inside your module, and always follow the best practices. And that's it from my side. Sorry for the long session. Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. I think it's a good session, Gineesh. Thanks for sharing. Yeah.
Thanks, Gineesh, for sharing.
Yeah, opening up the questions to the floor, right? Anybody have any questions pertaining to what Gineesh has presented? So as any other questions as well, right? Happy to answer.
I think there's
a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can just unmute yourself, guys, if you have any questions, right?
Yeah, hi, this is Shiv here. So just excuse my knowledge on Ansible. I'm pretty much new. So just wanted to understand, like, Gineesh, first of all, thanks for the presentation. It was quite basic, and I could understand what you're doing. So my question is, like, I'm working more on the storage side, right? So we have a lot of configurations are made to be made at the bias level. Okay, I'm not sure if you're aware of this ID rack, what Dell provides and all. So some kind of that configuration. So is it possible for Ansible, using Ansible, can we just automate that thing? Is it possible? Any idea?
I guess if it is, if you can use Redfish API to manage, that could be something that you can be looking at. You mentioned about Dell, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Yep. So BIOS settings and all those things, if it is exposed via the Redfish API, that is something that can be looked at.
Oh, okay. Sure. Thanks.
See whether I can find it.
Just to add on that, sorry, this is Deepak here. So on the Dell part, and particularly from a storage, Dell does support REST API,
Mhm.
really a Redfish API in a way, and we have modules also published. I'll just put up one link on the chat. I recently blogged about it, so you guys can actually go through. Basically, bare metal as a service almost covers everything as a available in the Dell infrastructure.
All right.
And on the same blog, there are a couple of more blogs which are around storage. You can have a look if you have interest in that.
In fact, I think these days we have quite a fair bit of certified content around the Dell EMC's part as well, right? So we do see those coming in these days.
Yeah, we keep doing that actually, internal and external. So I didn't jump into thing, but I'm from Dell Technologies,
Oh, nice.
one of the DevCon lead for the APJ. So those 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 things are actually available, and a lot of development is happening around Ansible area. Maybe
Yep.
we'll plan another session for that. Just update. But yeah,
I see a lot of new content addition, especially around the Dell EMC piece. I did have a conversation with one of the banks in this region, talking about storage automation using Ansible and Dell EMCs.
we are ramping that up a lot, especially from last 1.5 years.
Mm.
Being a big portfolio company, it takes a while to consistently deliver everything on all the platforms. But I would say at this moment, if customer is actually having Dell stack, it will be pretty easy to manage with Ansible.
Very nice. Shiv, does that answer your question? So you have
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah.
all right. I think there is another question.
Uh, yes. Hi, everyone. I am Ashutosh. I have a question regarding Ansible. So I'm actually working on a hybrid cloud platform where we are using Morpheus as a cloud management platform, and there actually I'm actually using Ansible to code the multiple operations there. So we have a API guide where we are following we are following that to code our Ansible playbooks. My question is, so there is, I have, let's say I have to create one instance in my cloud or instance in my local private cloud. So is there any rollback? Let's say I have to create 100 instances through Ansible. And if let's say during the instance creation, it got failed during 11th instance creation or 50th instance creation. So how do I roll back through Ansible? Is there any methodology available or any module can I create to do that operation?
Okay. I guess the thing is, usually you will still have to write a playbook that actually does the destroy of that virtual machine, right? So that's how it's typically being done. Obviously, I've seen customers doing it in a different way, which is that sometimes if you're doing things like, let's say Terraform, right? If it is a cloud, then you can be using Ansible to drive that end-to-end automation. You can kind of trigger Ansible to trigger Terraform to do some of those rollback if you want. If not, of course, the way that we do it is that we will have a playbook that does the creation of the virtual machine and another playbook that does the rollback, because Tower actually has the workflow capabilities. So what can happen is that you can orchestrate that flow itself when, let's say, the VM rollout is not successful. You can have, as part of the workflow, to run the destroy VM playbook to go and destroy that thing. And we can actually keep track of the whole flow itself. So different ways to do it, depending on how you want to do it.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
it can be done.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
Yeah. I mean, in fact, I think 2 years ago, right, we were actually working with AWS to showcase what we can do in the area of network automation. Right? If you were to put certain virtual machines as in Cisco routers and whatnot, you can provision, you can tear down not just the normal Linux and the Windows machine that we are talking about. So quite a fair bit of stuff that can be done depending on how you utilize the different modules that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yep, go ahead.
Yep.
I have thank you for the sharing first, and I have a question because I just new into the Ansible, so my question is like do you use Ansible Tower? Is it worth it? And then um, is it the combo is actually AWS or an Ansible? We must use the AWS.
So if I understand you correctly, you're asking whether it makes sense to use Ansible Tower, correct? Or AWX, which is the
Yeah.
upstream version of Tower,
Yeah.
as opposed to just using Engine, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so as in one of those things that we often talk about is what are the added features that we have in, let's say, Ansible Tower. Right? In this case, you have things like role-based control, right? You have a central logging. You have things like the UI, right? Obviously, the REST API is something that we think is quite important, right? Because rather than having to, let's say you're doing a Jenkins pipeline, like you're doing CI/CD, rather than having to type SSH into a target and then run the Ansible -playbook command, right? You can actually use REST API to do that end-to-end integration. And because you have that REST API endpoint, you can actually have a round loop, closed loop collections, right? Connections between the different target systems, and everyone can actually communicate with REST. Role-based control is needed if you are talking about this enterprise framework, right? You don't really want anyone to just go inside. With Ansible Engine, if you have host level access, you will be able to run a command. But if it is Tower, you kind of control who can run what command. Logging as well. That's those things that the enterprises are looking for. In fact, from a Tower perspective, you can forward the logs to Splunk or Elasticstack for things like analytics, right? That can be done after that. Yeah, there are other things that comes along with it, of course, and these are just some of the things that we look at when you want to use it on enterprise level, which is actually important. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it it have the what we call it that problem that we need to look at?
The problem that we need to look at
Yeah.
is in
Is it the pattern itself or design? How we design?
well, I think Gineesh has some slides on that earlier, whereby we talk about things like having clustering, being able to scale. In fact, for Ansible Tower, right, we can go up to something like a 200,000 endpoints. If you just do something with Engine, I think it's hard for you to reach that kind of scale, right? You see over here, for instance, you have different things, right? We talk about role-based control. The knowledge and visibility is also another thing whereby you kind of, and of course, this scheduler, right? This is something that we didn't actually talk about. You can do scheduling inside. For instance, if I say that I want to run it on the second Tuesday of the month, I could actually get Ansible Tower to do that kind of scheduling. And everything is actually centralized from the central location. Those kind of stuff. I mean, obviously, if you're an Engine user, you may or may not be able to kind of relate to this, but the thing is more of if you want to go enterprise, if you want to do it large scale, it makes a lot of sense to go down this path with Tower.
Yeah. Okay. Because I just do some research. So thank you for the explanation.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, there is also this thing on the platform, which I think Gineesh showed as well. A lot of other things that actually comes in.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
No worries. Thanks. Another question, I think.
Yeah. Hi, Guinea. Thanks for a wonderful session. What I want to know is like, what are the most common modules that you have built for your real-time projects. Uh, so you think that must be useful for other people also?
Okay, we have built few modules for like some network devices, kind of not network, firewall network kind of devices. Uh, I'm not sure it's useful for others. That's why we never publish, because first thing, it was very custom requirement from the customer, like they want to do in a specific way. So that kind of requirement is not so general. So what usually I do. Um, I create the generic version of the module. So let's say you pass this information, do something, then return the results. This kind of customized module or customizing specific customization, yeah, better. I mean, sometimes we cannot share outside because it's done part of the project. But whatever we did personally for the POC, some other things, yeah, we always share. For example, you have a, this is not a real case. For example, I have a use case like you have an Akamai device or you have an Infoblox device, you know you have some modules already. For Infoblox, you have some modules, but that modules are not really enough to do the automations. You know you have the API, you have access, everything's good, but the modules are not really enough. So from the Infoblox side, I don't know, it's really getting kind of a contribution in that level. So what we have done is like you create your own module for specific task, not very simple one, not complex one. So let's say I want to add some specific DNS provisioning or kind of a DNS provisioning group or RPZ zone. If you're familiar with that, there are some things like that. Then I refer the API reference scale. Then I create the module and use it inside. So those cases, if it's a very generic, like if I feel like this is useful for others, yeah, we can always publish in the repository under community or under my name or any other names. Yeah, it depends on the use case, because
Mm-hmm.
customer use case are like you know already, so they ask different things. So up to the use case.
Okay. Have you created any custom module to read emails from like common mailbox?
Okay, I think even in the audience there are many interested on that module. You can see there are some module in the community. You can see some items, but I never seen any development or contributions happen in that case. Actually, we have discussed this in groups as well. Because of the different email protocols, different email server response in different way, I didn't found anything. What we are using right now is we have the custom modules which will read the email from the local machine inbox
Okay.
instead of directly contacting to the server. So we have to configure the email in the local server. Then using the mail tools, local mail tools, we use some modules to read the emails, uh, pass the content, and make the email as already read or unread like that, and do it. Other one, I never try, but I can see a lot of potential.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah.
And the second thing was like running a DB query in DB server, something like that is
DB,
possible.
I think we have few modules already available in the collection, and also this one also depends on the database type, right? We have different
Mhm.
database connection, different
Yeah.
database types. So if you
Like
check,
it is a rational relational database, RDBMS only.
yeah, I know. I never work on that one. I can see few modules are available. I can share the links later, but
Yeah.
I never go with any kind of use cases with database. Yeah.
Okay. So, just the last question is that so suppose there is one, since you have already told every client have their particular scenario, and when you are particularly stuck and you want to automate one particular task, so what are the different approaches you try to complete that task? Like what? So
Okay.
apart from searching in internet, obviously, I mean.
Usually when we get, Anthony and we all know, actually, when we get the requirement from customer, we will just check the feasibility, like whether it's possible or not. Let's say one customer asks, okay, they want to automate the configuration of their Cisco desk phone. Okay. So for us, as long as we have some communication method like API or SSH or some method, then we can do that. So some of the devices, so we check first if this is something like very specific kind of requirement, we check the possibility, then only we will commit. We will just agree, okay, we can do this or not. So of course we contact the official, I mean the vendors, and check with them, okay, whether they support this kind of interactions or API or some options to connect programmatically. Then only we will commit this one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks for all the questions. I know we are on roughly a bit over time, but I think it's a very good session today. Before I end of the session, or actually if there's any other questions, I just want to quickly touch on Ansible Fest, right? Ansible Fest is a annual event that is up and coming, right? End of this month. So I hope that everybody has a chance to register themselves to get in touch with our extended team in the US, where they are going to present more on what are the new features coming up for Ansible, right? There are going to be some big changes coming up, right, to Ansible. I won't spoil it, right? Yeah, you guys can go to Ansible Fest to look up more for it. It's going to be recorded as well on demand. So please register yourself and attend the event if you can. If you can't attend it, at least register and then watch the on-demand recording after that. So there are going to be lots of stuff going on within Ansible Fest, lots of use cases, lots of customer success stories as well, right? But more from a technological perspective, there are going to be some changes as well. So please look out for it. If there are no further questions, we will end the session, right? If you have any other questions, you can still ask here. Myself, Anthony, will still be here. Gineesh will still be here as well. So yeah, thank you everybody for your time, right? Have a good day.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. Thank you for joining. Stay safe.
See you guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.